I grew up in a Christian home. I had the best parents anybody could ever ask for, that I couldn't really have asked for anything else. At a young age, somebody really close to me had something happen to them that affected the entire family and the dynamic of life. And I was kept away from it for protection of myself and my mentality. And it was at a church that we were going to, and we were treated completely differently as a family and almost asked to leave the church in a sense and forced out by the pastoral staff. So me being as young as I was, I didn't understand what was going on, and I didn't know the factors that had happened. So I really was starting my walk of moving away from church. At about 13 years old, I learned of what had happened, and me being young and not understanding the way that I do now, I really took it as a personal note of not trusting anybody, the people who were closest to me. I thought they had all lied to me for years upon years of my life, and it just was very hard for me to understand, and I wondered why I was left out of it. So I began hanging out with a different group of friends, having different life views, and really moving away from all of my morals that I'd had. And I got introduced to alcohol, and I also lived a double life, which I enjoyed, of being a good person at school and a pretty questionable human being outside of school. And this went from 13 all the way up until I got married at about 20. Me and my ex-wife had been living together and decided it wasn't in our best interest to stay together, but then she got pregnant, tried to make it work for our child, and so we ended up getting married and did not have the best marriage in all the world, to say the least. Throughout our marriage, my ex-wife still struggles with bipolar disorder and mental things, so it left me being a lot of the caretaker for our daughter. Around September of 2018, I felt completely betrayed because my ex-wife and I had decided to test the waters of a separation. It quickly turned into a very confusing point of my life where my daughter was taken from me and I was on a restraining order, was being falsely accused of beating my wife and doing things to my daughter that had never happened, and it just really put me in it began a very poor downward spiral of my life, I could say. And I finally ended up getting my daughter back partial time, so you'd think my mentality would have started looking up, but I was in a very dark place in my life, using drugs, drinking way too much alcohol, and associating with the wrong people and spending too much time alone. And I had just had enough, so I decided that one day I was sitting there playing a game and very intoxicated, and I texted my sister and my mom with my plan and told them, hey, today's the day, I'm sorry, I love you very much. And soon enough, there were police on my porch and my sister in my driveway, and I was asked to come with the police because they were afraid for me and they needed to have me checked out. So I spent a few days in Cadillac Hospital under 24-hour watch for protection of myself. And then I got moved over to Lord's inpatient unit and had to spend 2 weeks there. Upon leaving there, when I got released, I prayed to God that day that He take away my problems with drugs and alcohol and my wanton desire to use those things. And I truly believe that He took them from me that day. When I prayed for Him to take away my drug and alcohol problems, I have not struggled with those since. I'd heard about Celebrate Recovery from my mother, who attends Hope Church here, and I gave it a chance and ended up really enjoying it and meeting some great relationships and working my way into the program. And that's ultimately where my life changed, was right after getting out of Lord's inpatient unit. I'm realizing now that God and me have a relationship, and like all relationships, they need to be worked on in order for them to succeed. So I am putting in that work and trying to reestablish a base and grow into a better relationship to God. But it's a work in progress, and I'm happy that I'm where I'm at, and I'm seeing growth in this relationship, and I've cast out all the people that weren't good influences on my life and restored those spots with people who truly care about me that I've met here at Hope Church and in Celebrate Recovery and through recovery altogether.